Hey everyone, welcome in to the Rochford Files with your host that's kind of between the coast from the Mile Highland City. It's Andrew Rochford, live on YouTube and Twitch and also Twitter as well. So for those of you here, please at least start off by liking the stream, then share it, preferably somewhere new. And if you're on the Twitch end of things, please consider clicking the follow button there as well, as it's important to be supporting your favorite content creators in independent media on multiple platforms. And now, with that being said, we've got another guest back-to-back Wednesdays. She is part of Kerberos Media Productions. She is the regular Friday night co-host on Extra Bulla's Secret Midnight Show with Uncle Warren, and now the host of a new recent show called Whaat. It's Jimi Sunderlund.
What? What's up? It's good to finally meet you in person. And I have to say, it's so funny. Like, my ADHD doesn't allow me to watch videos in regular mode. So I watch all my videos at like 2 times the speed. And it's so weird to hear your voice in normal speed mode because I'm so used to hearing you just go really, really fast with everything. So it's cool to finally meet you in normal speed.
Hey, so shout out to the people that have shown up so far. James Doe is a new face.
Hi.
We've got WCSN here, and we got Uncle Warren.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not Haunted Warren. It's the fan that is making the curtain move,
That's what the ghosts want to tell you.
and Kelly so far.
Kelly! I love Kelly.
But you know what's crazy about this curtain here is when the fans are blowing at it all night, it'll take the curtain from like the top here and like this further curtain, and it'll move it all the way over to
Oh.
the other side.
I would just keep it as Ghost. I would just let people think it's Ghost. I would just start calling it Putin or something. Be like, it's Putin. Just leave him alone. He's bugging right now.
I mean, that's what Putin does to whenever he gets new buddies.
Yeah. Kelly, I see Kelly in the audience. Kelly, it's so good to see you. Thank you for upvoting all of my videos. I hate the algorithms, but thank you for supporting the algorithms.
Yes, a very uphill battle that people have with that.
Yeah.
So, Jimmy, how did you find yourself getting involved in independent media?
Actually, I've been involved for a really long time behind the scenes. I'm more of a video editor, graphic designer, project manager kind of person. I like to kind of keep the organization going more than being on screen. I have done some on-screen things here and there over the years, but it's just been within this last year that I'm finally getting brave enough and gutsy enough to actually put my face on screen. So I've started in about 2015 video editing for Tim Black, and then went to Real Progressives and kind of just went to different places after that. So I've been in the media sphere for a good minute.
Yeah, I was also going to ask you something else real quick, but
Yeah.
quick question for Uncle Warren. I wonder if he ran into the hardcore legend Mick Foley while he was down at New York Comic Con.
Oh, I don't know.
He's a wrestler.
Okay. He got to meet Jamie Lee Curtis. That was really cool.
Yes, but I'm sure we'll be hearing more about that soon from him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to be showing off all the videos. I show the videos off all on my channel too, but he's going to show them off on his and then talk about in depth. I can't wait. I love going to Comic-Con, so seeing him and like hearing his stories, I can't wait. It's going to be so exciting.
And back to the I was going to ask you is how did you learn video editing?
My husband actually kind of got me into it. I was just getting out of a career that I had done for 10 years, which was exotic dancing. Didn't feel like I had a skill set for really anything. I just know that I've been like coloring. I've been very creative my whole life coloring. I was a tattoo artist for a little bit. Started getting a little bit into Photoshop, but like the, cheap little apps on your phone where they do it. And my husband's like, you can actually do like real video editing and real Photoshop and real graphic design. So he kind of just showed me all that stuff and I got into that because he's in the Hollywood business. So that's how he got started was, doing all of that. Like he would make videotapes back in or VHSs back in the 90s and switch to DVDs and now digital. So he's been a part of it his whole life. So he kind of brought me onto it. And then I absolutely fell in love and realized I had a knack for it out of the blue and didn't even realize that I did. And I've just been going since. So.
Oh yeah, real quick, Uncle Warren. Oh yeah, maybe I'll have to show an old photo that I took with Mick Foley when I went to one of his comedy shows when he did a tour back then. It was like a few years back. He did a little comedy tour, so that was
okay.
Pretty good for someone who's not like a traditional comedian type.
Right.
Took a photo with him after the show.
Cool.
But yeah, now jumping back to this, I actually learned some video editing on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Just like pretty much self-taught because I used to mess around with like video editing for like NBA highlight mixtapes.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to teach myself how to use stuff like Sony Vegas.
Yep, I know that one.
That one was easier to use than like Adobe's video editing software, but I could still use that one effectively enough as well. Then then in order to get like the full functions of the program, then you're finding like the program keys online in order to get it free.
Right.
Risky, but that's how it was.
I gave up on trying to get free ones.
Oh yeah, now Kelly's got a question for both of us.
Okay.
Would you wear a costume at Comic-Con? And if so, what would it be?
Yes, that would be so much fun. So when I did go to Comic-Con, I didn't wear a costume. My costume was the free hug sign on the front, which I ended up getting like the flu from it, which sucked so bad. But I would do the cosplay stuff. My dream for Comic-Con cosplay would be like what my Halloween costume was. I'm trying to be this year is like a girly pink version of Pyramid Head from Silent Hill. That would be the best.
That's a tough one for me on my end, because simple thing is if I know it's like a wrestling heavy presence in a Comic-Con, my first thought would be to try to dress up like a wrestler, but beyond that, I'm not very creative with the costume and cosplay type of elements. James knows what I'm referring to. Download, crack, and keygen.
Okay.
But now it's a good time to get on with the show. And I'm probably one of the last people to get to this Tulsi Gabbard video, mainly because I didn't do a show on Monday.
Okay.
But better late than never, right? So I would say... So let's start.
I can no longer remain in today's Democratic Party that's under the complete control of an elitist cabal of warmongers who are driven by cowardly wokeness, who divide us by racializing every issue and stoking anti-white racism.
Your thoughts off of those first couple sentences you've heard?
No. She just got started. I want to keep hearing what she's got to say.
Oh, you need a bit more. I just thought, I always think it's hilarious how, with those type of talking points, they fear monger over
Right.
anti-white racism because it's like the white fragility inspired talking point, and we know how much that appeals to like conservatives.
Yeah.
Who actively work to undermine our God-given freedoms that are enshrined in our Constitution, who are hostile to people of faith and spirituality, who demonize the police but protect criminals at the expense of law-abiding American.
Oh
I
my
think
God.
you'll have more to say about that part.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I hate that she says that the left demonizes like the spirituality, like as if the left and the Democrats aren't Christian. And I was saying this earlier today, like if the Dems and the Republicans, I know the Republicans will never go away from that, but if the Dems really want to prove that they're not Christian and piss her off even more, let's tax the church. Prove it, bitches. Prove it.
Yeah, and it's also like false assumptions to think that even though there's going to tend to be more like agnostic and atheist people, the further left you go, that we're just going to be the types who are intolerant of religious people, when the Christo-fascist right actually shows more of an intolerance towards like atheist and agnostic people themselves, with the way they want to put like the church into government policy.
Right. And we know how great that goes when a religion takes over politics. So.
And what makes that even worse is when the supposed opposition, is not going to truly fight that.
Right. Right.
Who believe in open borders, who weaponize the national security state to go after their political opponents.
What do you have to say about this next part with open borders and the weaponizing of the national security state?
Yeah, no, definitely not. I mean, Kamala Harris literally said on stage, "Do not come to the immigrant." So it's just these right-wing talking points that they continuously spew over and over again. It's what the right side has always done. They just keep spewing these same things over and over again to where people start believing them. And so now she's starting to believe it. I don't see her going as Republican. I see her maybe going as libertarian more likely, but she's still got the spewing points in her head, which is gross.
Yes, not very often, James, but she does once in a while. And whenever she's not like in the hearing type of settings where she has like well prepared statements, she usually falls pretty flat.
Yep.
And struggles a lot with that.
Yep.
But when it comes to like the border thing, it's a lot of a hypocritical statement, because there's this false assumption that they're automatically better on the border when the deportation numbers of the past two Republican presidents were lower than the deportation numbers of the Democrat president, since we assume that Biden's deportation number is going to eclipse whatever Trump's was. Obama's was higher than Bush's. Then it also goes to the point of how they try to talk as they would bring law and order to these big cities, but since Republicans ever rarely get elected to be like a governor or a mayor of those big cities, they don't ever get the chance to prove that to be very wrong.
Right.
And above all, we're dragging us ever closer to nuclear war. Now, I believe in a government that's of the people, by the people, and for the people.
So that's one of the only points that she really has going for her, is the fact that back to the 2020 primary, that she had like the best rhetoric when it came to foreign policy. And do you feel like that's still there for her?
I don't think so. Isn't she the one that's been like pro-Israel? Is she pro-Palestine or pro-Israel? I could have sworn she's pro-Israel now, right?
I'm not sure if I've seen her speak on that recently, but
okay. I know there's like some kind of international foreign policy thing that I don't like about her. I should have studied up on her a little more. But I mean, I don't hate her. I don't like her, but I don't hate her. You know, it's like all the rest of them. At least she's doing some good, and at least she's getting out of the Dem party. So that's great for her.
yeah, I've never been one to have like this major like obsession with like hate, or like having to like the derangement like you mentioned with it kind of goes on like both extremes with her.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel that's there, but as you mentioned, it is positive that she's leading the Democratic Party, but she's probably, and she's going to stay independent for now, but whether that amounts to much, we'll see soon.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, today's Democratic Party does not. Instead, it stands for a government that is of, by, and for the powerful elite. I'm calling on my fellow common sense, independent-minded Democrats to join me in leaving the Democratic Party. If you can no longer stomach the direction that the so-called woke Democratic Party ideologues are taking our country, I invite you to join me.
Where are you taking us? Where are we going? Are we there yet?
Yeah, plus we've had like several other people, especially for those of us who are familiar and well within the independent spaces.
Mm-hmm.
We've had heard a lot of people talking about leaving the Democratic Party.
Oh yeah, 2020 and 2017, or 2021 and 2017, there was the whole Dem exit thing. So it's been like that for a while. She's just late to the train.
Except the difference is there's less notice of these things being hijacked as a way for people to go further right. Now we're starting to hear more of like people exiting to go left, unlike before.
Mm-hmm.
How about what do you think of the way that they call out the brand of wokeness that she's referring to?
Like I said this morning, what is wokeness? Because to every single person, wokeness is different in every way. I figure, I mean, in my opinion, I guess you're woke as long as you want to serve humanity, not have any killings whatsoever, make sure everybody has basic necessities to live, everybody's living comfortably. I think that is a type of wokeness, and I don't see anything wrong with that. But like I said, other people have different opinions. You know, Republicans have opinions of wokeness, Democrats have opinions of wokeness, and it's all different. So it just depends on who you're talking to.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between what the Democrat, how they weaponize it. It's pretty much just a way to put different faces in high places in order to maintain the same status quo. But then you got some people who get that takeaway, but then like, oh, if that's how woke it is, then we have to be counter it by being anti-woke. When instead of like turning it into like a way of like extending it beyond being performative.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So then I noticed earlier today there was like some headline from the Hill saying that she was going to get ready to uh, put her support behind this MAGA Republican type candidate. So we talk a lot about people on the left who don't take the label of like being a Democrat, yet there are often sheep herding for the Democratic Party. Do you think this is a potential case of, while she doesn't take the label of the Republicans, that she eventually becomes a big sheep herder for them?
I could see it as a possibility. I mean, they're using Bernie like that for the left really easily. So I could see her falling into that as well. She's a politician. She's not going to, I can't expect anything different from her. So.
Yeah, and it's even though those type of people on the right, they're less like known, because for us we could think of like several people who do that in the left space. It I think part of that is because a lot of the right is indistinguishable, because I think they get complacent with electoralism, because it's more, the Overton window's more in their direction. So I can understand the complacency and how they don't really put a lot of stock into direct action, and they take the theater of Washington a lot more seriously than what the left does right now. Our type of left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Our type of left it still needs a lot of organization. The right is very organized, has been for a really long time. I mean, even Kyle Kalinske for the Justice Dems took, ideas from the Tea Party. So, yeah.
Oh, nice one, Uncle Warren. I bet Rick Overton is getting tired of people moving his window.
Fucking Warren.
Yeah, if it was that easy, we should have all joined Rick and moved his window back over to the left.
I would love that. Yeah, because it's like for the Democrats, the Overton window is like right there where they are. They're like right on the left of it. But like for Democrats are like super, super left, like way past it. And so we're like extremism. Like to them, we're like extremists. So yeah, they're opinion based as well, where this Overton window is.
Rick is moving Andrew's haunted window.
Fucking Warren. You leave Putin's ghost alone. That's my buddy over there.
So, have you? I know that you're someone in California. Have you lived anywhere else besides there in your life?
Not like for a really long time. No, I've pretty much been out here my whole life. I've done a little bit of Texas for a couple of months, Vegas for a couple of months. That's about it. But I've lived out here my whole life.
Yeah, because this next story is going to hit closer to home for you, because it's in relation to the LA City Council and the leaked racist audio recordings that came out from them, with 3 of the members on that city council.
Yeah.
So, about to play the audio that got leaked from that. Then we'll work in some thoughts on that and some other recent updates. So we'll start here.
Yeah. I see a lot of little short, dark people. Yeah, little hot and Korean. Not even like Kevin, little ones. I don't know what it is that you have here, but. And those are wearing shoes.
So I get what we have to do, right? Just massage to create districts that benefit them all, right? And the future. But we gotta figure out March too. You know, that benefits you.
If the African Americans look at this, now that my government is spending, I don't know how much, should let it out. If you go with it.
You mean resign, not suspend.
No, here's.
You're right, I get there is a
If
difference.
I may.
If he resigns, hold on, if he resigns and the African Americans look at this as a possible because he's gone, we'll have to figure that shit out, because politically they're gonna come out.
Yeah, but can I say something right now? It's what I call it's the promotion that it's the movie, the Wizard of Oz.
Mhm.
And what I mean by the Wizard of Oz effect is when you're on the side of the curtain, it's like it's big glass. It's not like it's a house or something. And then when you actually pull the curtain, it's like you see the little Wizard of Oz. You know what? It's the same thing.
It's real simple. You got 100 people, right? 52 more. I feel pretty good about it. I feel pretty good about my chances of beating your ass.
25 are black. 25 blacks are shouting.
But they didn't shout like they were 250. Yeah. It was 100 enough.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Wow.
I see a lot of dark people.
So there's a bit more to this.
However you do it, right? That person has, if somebody slides in, right, temporary, however you do it, right? That person has to support the three of you. Has to support the three of you. And Daniel, right?
No, I don't.
I guess so. After he was fucking sweating his ass off. One of those supporters is kind of.
Yes.
Yeah.
If somebody slides in, right?
So, what were your thoughts coming off of those recordings that we?
I haven't heard that part of it yet. I was trying to understand what they were talking about. Something about beating their ass. That was pretty interesting.
And oh yeah, there's a bit more. I took that off the screen a bit soon, but
No, you're
I
good.
didn't
I
realize
haven't heard that part, so that was interesting. I've
it
only
got
heard like
split
the ones
into-
that the news reporters say. So
So there's certain people who don't merit like us resting. You're from my life, right? I'm not.
I know.
Give it this one.
She doesn't merit, right? But it's not. She's not gonna help us, or this is none of this can be counted on.
You say that's the one put in the blender.
Well, that's what they did. Yeah. So there's certain people who don't merit like us resting. And if you want to make a deal, and if you want to make like fucking ball moves, I would go after the airport. He goes, fuck, I know that idea. I said, tell me, go leave him alone. Go get the airport from his fucking little brother, a little big fine. I go, what is the boss? What's wrong? I said, what? He's like a black guy. I don't say anything. So getting back to Marquise, I told Nana, if you. I just write the A 2.5 and amended. We're good with that. We think it's generous to your guy, Mitch. Why are you saying my guy?
Well, he's my guy.
And your guy.
Where's your talk?
I did a fucking I can't need anybody to bring my dog. Because all these guys, I'm good with look at how hard I work. Look how hard I work to not let this be compared. You sound like you guys are okay, like, fuck man, you had me fooled. I'm like, oh yeah, we call it the bromance, a COVID bromance. They go on COVID, yeah, and like complimenting each other, and this and that, and I'm like, oh fuck, I didn't get the memo. I just think it was the work. And now we're back to like battery, so I don't
him out of this.
He's a teamster. I got it.
Yeah.
Me?
Is it Tuesday?
Yeah. That's why this guy that's running from HRE, I already told Susan.
Sometimes you gotta give people a little closer to try to control them a little bit, like sort of like calm the hell down. I get it, he's a diva. I understand.
Oh wow, I didn't realize how much audio that there was to that.
Yeah, so she ends up calling him like she was saying from what I heard and what I've listened to from the news so far is she was talking about Bonin and his son, and I think it was about a parade float that the kid was on, saying that he was jumping around, acting like a crazy person, and then she called him, making fun of his race, and then she said she called him like a little monkey in Spanish, that it was just super, super racist. And what's even more worse is like, I found out that not only Bonin adopted this little child, this little black kid, he's also gay. So when we were just listening to that right now, how she called him a diva, she's not only racist, but this woman's homophobic completely. Like, she should not even be in office at all. Her kind of stepping down, like stepping down from the president part, but not the actual city council spot. She should be gone. That she should not be representing that area at all, especially if that area is, a diverse culture of people. It might be, like she was saying, 52% Latina, but there's still other people in there, and you can't just ignore them and put them down just because you're a racist. I don't know. She's horrible. I can't believe her.
Yeah, and also the fact that this is like the type of thing that leads like marginalized communities to truly believe that they are on their own when they hear like that type of like racist statements being said and exchanged from people like that in potential position in the positions that they are in, like Nuri Martinez, Gil Cedillo, and Kevin De Leon. And so far, I believe, only one of them has resigned at this time. And that would be Nuri Martinez has resigned a little over 3.5 hours ago. Nearly 4 hours ago. And
she did.
It is with a broken heart that I resign my seat for Council District 6, the community I grew up in and my home.
Winning. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. That's all I needed to hear. Dude, I also found out that her husband works with the LA City Council, not LA City, LA County Police Department chief. I guess there's like this group in LA County Police where a lot of the racist skinhead police officers out there get these matching tattoos that say they're in the secret gang. Nuri Martinez's husband worked very closely with those guys. Yeah. Not
surprising, and that's how those are the type of connections right there that can get elections rigged in your favor, regardless of how poorly public support comes off for you.
It's disgusting because she's a Latina too, and she's allowing herself to get involved in this racism, whitewashing that America's been doing to people of color for generations now. And it's like these skinheads, like, they don't even look at her like a human being, they're looking at her like a tool, like a little trophy prop, like, I got another one on my side, here she is. And then she's just living it up and soaking it up like she's one of them. Like, girl, you don't understand. These guys do not care about you. They find themselves a hot blonde haired girl with blue eyes. You're at the curb. Like, why even bother being like that? They don't care about her.
So if this ends up leading to the other two people, Cedillo and De Leon, eventually resigning as well. What do you think that means for the people who could run to take over their seats?
I have no idea who could do it. I've been hearing, not him himself, but talks and rumors that people want Kenneth Mejia to run for office over there. He's running for city controller right now, but if he's ever listening, I would tell him, like, if there's a seat for that spot, do it. But also, city controller is like the money management, and he's really good at talking about how much the police department steals from the community. So that might be his spot. But if anyone, I would want him to go for it. He seems like a really good guy. If Kenneth Mejia's out there and he knows more people that would want to run for city council, please let all of us know, because I'll phone bank if I have to.
Yeah, the hard part for me is thinking about how this is an opportunity for them to try to put someone in like that's even worse, like policy wise,
Mm-hmm.
and use that as, because of the way I see like that whole like Rick Caruso trying to run for, I believe, what position was Rick Caruso running for? Then he got like the support of like Kim Kardashian and I think a couple other celebrities when he was really uh, had the right wing uh, extremist uh, strategy on police.
Oh, he just disappeared out of nowhere. I don't even know what happened to him. That's funny that the Kardashians were trying to get him elected in a county that they don't even live in themselves. So,
Yeah, so I think about a similar thing going down like that, where because in a extremely blue area like California, New York, you know what people who would rather be Republicans do? They run as Democrats, and that's how you get stuck in uh, this perpetual state of neoliberalism because Eric Adams knows he would have no chance if he actually like ran as a Republican. So therefore, has the full backing of the machine, running as a Democrat instead. So I think that's a type of replacements that could potentially come to fruition.
right. Well, we'll have to wait and see, definitely. It's going to be interesting what they're going to do with this. Definitely.
Yeah, so I think the next point is to go through like some of the recent developments in relation to what's happened in the proxy war with Russia and Ukraine. I know that um, last week, Ukraine President Zelensky was calling for preemptive strikes to NATO. And it's like uh, kind of frustrating because my account was originally a sports account on Twitter, then seeing like the sports account people reply to you like, "What?" when you actually are more critical of Zelensky rather than Putin, and that's the work of the propaganda machine at hand. So we'll start off with the thoughts on the whole uh, call for preemptive strikes.
Mm-hmm. It's just him wanting to get us further into a war. He's pushing Putin's buttons. He's doing the whole fuck around and find out. Like, he's fucking around and he's gonna find out. Like, you just don't. Why is he's seriously sitting there wanting to do a preemptive strike when he's the size of Texas and he's fighting a country that's bigger than the United States? Like, it's pathetic. You're really trying to fuck around and find out right now. So yeah, and then plus, like, people were saying, like, you push a person into a corner, but like far back enough, they're not going to have anything, that like there's nothing left for them to hold back on fighting. They'll just have nothing left to live. They'll just do everything they can, and if you keep doing that to him, he's gonna get to that point. You give him nothing else to live for, he's gonna fuck us all up. They're asking for it.
Yeah, the frustrating part here is the fact that people haven't been able to get past the whole logic uh, of not having the illusion of like not being able to believe that it's possible for Ukraine and Zelensky to be the aggressor in this situation, because there's like 8 years before late February where Ukraine was actually the aggressor in areas like the Donetsk, the Luhansk, and Donbass.
Yep. Absolutely. They were saying on the news or somewhere this morning or last night that, all Putin is going to do is push up to that point of the river, and that's all he wants. He never wanted any more than that, and it's Ukraine that's been trying to take it over. But once he wins that, Ukraine's going to be landlocked. Then what are they going to do? They're screwing themselves. Russia's going to get that no matter what, but they keep trying to, do things. And if they actually add themselves into NATO, that's it. That's just it for us. We've been pushing that bear for so long, and we're not doing anything to slow it down. So, and what's crazy to me is like the Democratic mainstream media, like propaganda machine, really figured out a way to get these libtards on board with this. Kind of like the same as how Bush and the Republicans got us on board for 9/11 wars right afterwards, where people are like, America, let's go. They literally copy and pasted the same thing from then for the Democrats now. And they're falling for it, hook, line, and sinker. And it's like, people, you can't just like step back and look at the bigger picture and see what we're doing right now. We're literally repeating the same thing. We just got out of a 22 fucking year war, or 20-year war. And now we're going to get ourselves into another one where they have nukes, really have nukes. We can't kill off this leader because he has nukes. He's going to fuck us up before we do. It's not, it's not Libya. It's not Gaddafi. It's not Iraq. So we're fucked. We're screwing ourselves.
Yeah, and then the fact when you offer any type of pushback to that criticism, you get called a Putin puppet or a Russian apologist, when the facts are that's always going to remain muddied with the involvement of U.S. and NATO, because if they were involved, then I think you would see people like us. To them, we may not come off as biased in that situation if the United States wasn't involved, because that's like the first thing that we would want to have happen, is for them to get out of this conflict and push for peaceful settlements.
Mm-hmm. Never going to happen. These are rich men wars. We're nothing but pawns.
I think I saw what Uncle Warren was referring to earlier. One former general wants Israel to launch attack nukes on Russia. Shit is fucking crazy out there.
I saw that
too. As I call Israel the imperialist right-hand man of the United States, and Ukraine is developing into the imperialist left-hand man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's crazy is you got like this eagle in the middle. You got Jewish people on one side and Nazis on the other. Freedom, bitches. Jesus Christ. I want off this planet so bad.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing that I saw today, was that whole photo of like that little video of, Dan Cohen shared it earlier today, of Zelensky being in that surrounded green screen for all the backgrounds for the videos, what I would call the vignettes.
I did not see this. I am missing out on some good stuff.
Oh yeah, I'll find it in a moment, but I'll start off with the touching on the Wyatt Reed situation that happened over the weekend. So, Wyatt Reed over the weekend, for those of you who do not know, my hotel in Donetsk just got hit by a Ukrainian artillery strike. I watched a massive explosion rock the intersection of Artemis Street and Hurova Avenue moments before recording this video while walking back. If I had returned 30 seconds later, I'd have been killed. So what do you think of this scary situation that we got journalists like Wyatt Reed, Eva Bartlett, Vanessa Beeley? They're the ones who are on the ground right now covering what's happening.
I think it's wrong no matter what it is. Nobody should be murdering journalists. This is freedom of speech right here, and people deserve to know what's going on. I think anybody that's trying to kill off journalists is trying to hide some kind of truth no matter what it is.
Yeah, that was the first thing of the whole, since Wyatt was added on one of those Ukrainian kill list. So that's, and it also has a lot of,
on that too. There's like kids on that list, children 10, 11 years old,
and there's a lot of prominent like journalists who have been speaking against Ukraine in this whole proxy war, and Wyatt happens to be one of them. And I know he mentioned the whole thing with the WhatsApp and how it tipped off his location, and how he it recently clicked that he should delete the app. So it was definitely a very scary situation.
Yeah. They weren't probably not expecting him to walk away from that area. They probably expected him to stay there. Most of these times when journalists are killed, it's not on accident. It's usually on purpose. I mean, look at what happened with the Panama Papers. That lady was literally bombed in her own vehicle. This shit's always planned.
Yeah, I think right. Alluded to some other examples, like they're putting Julian Assange to a slow, torturous death.
Yep.
But yeah, this is a very wild situation that happened over the weekend, and why it's been making the rounds on some of the other bigger shows, talking about a story that happened. With Slow News Day was the first to get the interview on that. Mm-hmm. But then he's been on some other big channels as well. But then we go to the strike of the bridge thing that happened over the past few days as well. So let's go right here. The official Ukraine Twitter account. Geez, Russian strikes are not, quote, revenge for the Crimea Bridge. They are revenge for the fact that Ukraine still exists. They are part of Russia's genocidal war on Ukraine. Its continued murder and terror against civilians. The only way to put an end to it is arm Ukraine now. And there's been some other voices like Mike Pompeo, who has never met a war that he didn't like in his life, who has just recently, who tweeted, I think yesterday, asking for more arms. Mm-hmm. So
even Ukraine said sick burn right after they burnt the bridge down or blew up the bridge. They tweeted out sick burn. And then they said, Ukraine, how are you doing? Like, come on. This whole week with that thing, you can see how it all led up to it. Zelensky wanted preemptive strikes. Putin then said, I will use whatever means necessary to protect our country. Then they bomb the bridges, and then Russia bombs Ukraine a bunch of times. Ukraine keeps starting it, but then they go off on these little like word salad things like, hey, they didn't do it because of the bridge. They did it because we're still alive. Like, come on. These are like, Ukraine people are not getting killed because they're alive. Russia's not like, they're really putting out some fake stories out there. The propaganda is thick.
Yes, and don't forget the whole projection here on calling this Russian genocide, which is a common talking point of those NAFO dog bots that you see, when there's a better argument to be made that Ukraine is trying to practice genocide on Russian citizens in their country, especially in those affected regions that they've been going after for the 8 previous years following the coup.
Yep. Absolutely. There's no genocide on either side. They're crazy.
Then also got to add in how another common point is uh, calling Putin the war criminal, the aggressor, when you hear like people like Scott Ritter describe the situation. Russia's actually been trying to be more tactical when it comes to the way they retaliate back. And if they were reckless about the situation, this would be much more uglier than it is right now.
Sorry, my cat is wild.
But yeah, one quick thing to touch on since we mentioned the right uh, with the whole Tulsi Gabbard thing. It was kind of weird seeing how Michael Tracy tried to go after Fiorella Isabel earlier today. That's kind of like self-eatery right there when they're pretty much reporting in near agreement on what's been going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't even see that at all.
Oh, because Michael Tracy said that she became a Russian propagandist for joining RT after this whole proxy war started.
They always think anyone that joins RT News is a Russian propagandist. I can't even find that show anymore. It's so hard to find it. Just on their website, pretty much. So they're always going to do that. I take it as a term of endearment. I tell people I am Putin's puppet. So Putin's hot. I'll tell people he's sexy. I like to freak people out on it about Putin. So
yeah, that was
it's my own way.
Not gonna like make it a big part of the show like other channels do, but just thought that was a weird moment of like eating away at each other when you're reporting in near solid agreement on what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one last thing that one of the more recent things came from the Ukraine Prime Minister, who sends a message to Africa. The Foreign Minister, Dmitry Kuleba, has called on Africa to back Kiev in an upcoming UN General Assembly vote to condemn last month's referendums that resulted in 4 new regions joining Russia. The diplomat published his message to African nations on the ministry's website on Monday. Africa's support is needed more than ever, Kuleba wrote, revealing he was cutting short a lobbying tour of African capitals to return home following Russian missile strikes on Kiev and other cities. African nations must stand by international law, territorial integrity, and peace, not only by condemning the strikes on Kiev, Odessa, Dnepr, Kharkov, Rovno, Lviv, and Ivano-Frankivsk, but by also opposing with the UN vote Moscow's annexation of the formerly Ukraine territories, his message demanded. Your thoughts on Ukraine trying to demand that African countries come out from being neutral?
Yeah, I'll just repeat what I said earlier. It's going to be super hilarious to see them getting weapons of mass destruction from New Guinea. That shit's going to be hilarious. They're going to get like pigs stuffed with like Molotov cocktails and shit. They're ridiculous. Like the whole continent of Africa, that's absolutely ridiculous. How many countries are in Africa? And you can't expect all of them to have enough to stand behind them. He's literally out there begging for crumbs so that he can try to win this thing because he knows he's not going to win. I hope Africa says no.
Yeah, then you've also got the fact that from like many of these African countries' point of views, it's like, why in the fuck would we help you guys when the countries backing you are the same ones that are making conditions worse for people in our countries? That's got to be one of the first things that pops into their mind.
Yeah.
Then I imagine that as long as they're breaking through the propaganda in their own country, they should be seeing all the red flags with Ukraine, such as the Nazi connections with the Azov Battalion and how they have a disproportionate amount of impact in their government and military.
Mm-hmm.
So that right there is definitely a big example of why Africa should not want anything to do with that. And you imagine it's kind of like a weird thing when you're against the U.S. empire. You're probably going to hear something somewhere down the line where Africa decides to align in certain aspects with like China or Russia, because if you're against the U.S. empire, you're going to have some odd alliances when that's the thing you unite over.
Yep. I mean, just in Libya alone, they should be like, fuck no, we ain't helping you guys in Ukraine after what you did to us. And then also, like, everywhere in South Africa should be like, fuck no, especially after all the generations of slavery that we've done to them. You know, we've taken them from their home. They should give us the bird. Absolutely. Stick it out to your own. They're only asking for a lot more help now because Ukraine knows that once winter comes, they're not going to be able to fight this fight. Russia's going to win. They're ready. They're ready to go for the winter. Ukraine can't handle it. Once those temperatures drop out there and it's below freezing, people aren't going to be able to last while also battling. Not going to happen.
So for this last segment, got a lighter thing to close the show out on, and kind of funny as well.
That's just like the opening appetizer, but whatever.
Admittedly, you want to know how bad inflation is? Yesterday, yes, I had a nice lunch at Taco Bell. Cost me about $28 at Taco Bell for lunch. People need to pay for those things, and they do that by getting jobs and getting in the economy and getting involved.
Wait a minute. You spent $28 at Taco Bell for just yourself?
For lunch, yeah, it's true.
Okay.
That's a lot of chalupa.
That's a inflation story. That is. You're both thin, fit. I can't see me. That's just like the opening appetizer, but whatever.
That's hilarious.
So what are your thoughts when you hear someone spending that much money at a Taco Bell?
Oh, that's normal here in California. Are you kidding me with the taxes out here? $28 for a meal for a person is normal. That's just basic. It's like $10 $10 to $15 just for a meal at Jack in the Box out here. So
yeah, because I remember.
But that's the thing, though, is that it's not inflation that's doing it right now. This is just the cost of living going up, not comparing to the cost or to the money that you make, the hourly wage that you earn. This is just something that's been happening with our country for the last 20 years anyway. It's not just happening within the last, year or so. This has been going on for a while. Like, people complain about paying some gas prices. Like, I heard the national average is like $4 or $5. I haven't seen gas prices at $4 since like 2013. So these guys are tripping. This is just the price of living now because greedy motherfuckers keep rising the price.
But I think a lot of the quotes to this are people trying to flex on this, but they also don't have an understanding of how the prices are. Because I remember going to the Monica Pier like over 10 years ago, and there's a Taco Bell close on that pier, and the prices were outrageous there. It was like
Yeah.
nearly $20 just for the basic regular combo meal there.
And $28, I'm pretty sure he's like really over exaggerating it a lot, unless he's a really big eater and he likes to stuff his face. Because about $32 to $35 is enough for like me and my kid to get some food, like fast food. So he's probably eating like is enough for him and a child.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of people are like, "Oh, that $28, your stomach's really going to get blown up after eating all that."
Right. Yeah, he definitely over exaggerated a bit. But I mean, it is outrageous. The prices are outrageous. I think it's just funny that they're blaming it on inflation right now. Everything's inflation. And it's so funny because they just don't realize the cost of living has gone up and we're just not making the same kind of wages to keep up with that. But they'll never tell us.
Yeah. Oh, what is the most food that you've ever ate from Taco Bell at one time?
Oh gosh, I don't eat very much when I go to Taco Bell. I have to have Mexican pizzas. I think I single-handedly sold out the Mexican pizzas when they came back from Taco Bell because we had Mexican pizzas for like a week and then they were gone. So I definitely will have Mexican pizzas all day long. Give me about 2 or 3. I would probably be super, super happy. Probably wouldn't eat more than 2, most likely.
So yeah, I would say that
What about you?
as someone that doesn't really eat anything other than tacos from Taco Bell, I would call the Taco Bell challenge trying to eat the whole 12 taco pack on your own.
The family pack? Damn.
Yeah. I've done that like 2 or 3 times.
Okay, how did you feel afterwards though? Like your shit has to suck.
You know, I don't think tacos are that bad. I think since that's really mainly one of the main things I have from there is like not that bad, just more stuff than usual.
Yeah, exactly. I know. That's why I always call it taco hell, is because the toilet afterwards is like the most brutal. But it's so worth it. It's so worth it.
Nah, it's like if I'm gonna go through that, I'll do that for like actual authentic Mexican food or some real good ass street tacos.
I'll do that with chorizo. I will make that shit so spicy and I know I'm going to hate it later on that day or the next day. It's going to be brutal. But man, for me, chorizo is like the most worth it thing.
So it sounds like you have a pretty high spice tolerance.
Yeah. I'm definitely not mayonnaise white for sure.
Yes, very much the same here as when it comes to the example of tacos, always got to pick the spiciest salsa that's available at hand to have them with. But then you're also a bit disappointed when you go to a taco place and they don't have the really spicy salsas to go with the tacos.
Yeah, I know. We should be like Hillary Clinton and always keep a bottle of Tapatio in our purses, you know?
I imagine that'd be like, oh, buying the extra pints of the places that you do know that do offer some spicy salsa, like, oh,
yeah,
pull that out instead.
That's right. That would be cool. My limit is all. Poor White Warren.
And for us, jalapeno is barely anything.
Yeah, exactly. Throw a little bit of cheese on it and you can't even taste the jalapeno anymore. Poor Warren. He's going to come out here to California one time and I'm going to show him all the spicy food. And then he's just going to live in my bathroom for a week and it's going to be hilarious. I'll videotape the whole thing.
Oh, is that gonna be the secret? His new secret show out when he
No.
visits.
If he ever decides to move, maybe that would be cool. Throat spicy, tongue spicy, or mouth spicy? I like mouth spicy. I don't like it
Yeah, that
spicy
was.
in my throat, but in my mouth, if that's great, I can handle that.
I mean, tongue or mouth is tolerable, but
Yeah.
throat spicy would be like pushing the limits more.
Yeah. You ever have like the feeling like the acid reflux, that kind of burn? I can't. That's too much.
Exactly.
You're more than welcome. Come and give me a redo. Mouth spicy for sure. Yeah. See, I'm agreeing. Definitely mouth spicy. I love it. Hot
Already,
Cheetos, all of it. Yeah, just spice it up.
yeah, I found out a couple weeks ago that Kelly's not really can't handle much either.
Okay.
Because when she talked about making a tomatillo salsa, I was like, oh, better add like 10, 15 habaneros in that.
Uh-huh.
And she's like,
Yep.
no. No.
No. It's good, I promise. We'll just have to spice her up.
And
That's all.
it's like when you make a weaker one and you just have to, I guess maybe just like 1, 2, or 3.
Oh, you know what? There is a limit for me. Wasabi. There's no way that I could ever do wasabi. That's too spicy. That scares it. I've never tried it because it scares me that bad.
So do you think you could make it through a Hot Ones challenge?
Ooh, no, probably not. I've seen some of them. I would truck through it for sure. I would, but man, I don't know. I'd probably say like about maybe 7 levels in, and I would just be like, nah, done. Just scared of wasabi. Because I grew up in like the Jackass generation where like Steve-O snorted that shit and then he had to go to the hospital. So I'm traumatized. I learned from other people's mistakes. Good
Yes,
good
so
guacamole. Kelly.
oh, Kelly, have you been introduced to a spicy guacamole salsa?
That sounds so good.
She'll be like, oh, no,
No.
not having any of that.
In moderation, wasabi is good. Maybe I'd have to add it to like soy sauce with like, the sushi and all of that to see what it tastes like. But it's still, yeah, I get the spicy tuna tempura rolls anyway. So it's kind of spicy a little bit. But yeah, no, it'd be cool if it was a little bit more spicy. I never thought about like just dabbling in wasabi and then just a whole bunch of soy sauce. That would probably work.
But yeah, since you said you would struggle with the regular challenge, you'd probably have an even harder time with that game show.
Yeah, like I
You
said, I'd
remember
probably get to like
seeing it?
level 7 and give up.
You remember seeing it, a few episodes come out back in like 2020. Then I think the start of the pandemic pretty much killed more episodes being made of it.
Yeah. I heard they're getting ready to do some more. Or they're getting ready to start up some more, so which will be cool. Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure. I randomly see them. They'll come up on my recommendation page on YouTube.
So yeah, I think that's a good point to end things off on tonight's episode of the Rochford Files. As y'all know, if you showed up late on the YouTube side of things, please like, share, and subscribe as well. Then if you're on Twitch, click the follow button, and don't forget to click my link tree in the comments below. I mean, in the description below for all the links related to the Rochford Files. And as for, I'm not exactly sure when the next show will be. I'm thinking either possibly Friday night or Saturday afternoon, but not too early in the afternoon. Otherwise, Kelly or WCSN won't be in on it. So, Jimmy, do you got anything that you would like to plug on your way out?
Sure. Check me out in the mornings, Monday through Friday, over on KRT Media on YouTube, Image Productions on Twitch. I just do pretty much what you just did. I do it for 4 hours every morning. If you would like to help and go check out the Twitch, I usually at the end of Twitch like to raid the people that I follow, some of the independent news media. I just started doing it, so I do one day Nikki, Radical Leftist Agenda. The next day I'll do Hard Lens Media and Raid. So I'm trying to build up a little bit of the Twitch so that way we can help out the community with sharing followers. So check me out over there Monday through Friday. This Friday we've got the Secret Show, exactly Friday night. Warren's probably going to be talking about Comic-Con, and that's pretty much probably what we're going to be talking about the whole 2 hours is everything that has to do with Comic-Con, whether it's cartoons, nostalgia, comic books, superheroes, horror movies, probably everything you can think of to do with Comic-Con, which is going to be super, super, super fun. And I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be on here. Thank you, everybody, for being patient. Like my animals literally just run this house. They own it. I just live here and pay rent. So I had like my cat's in heat. I'm like waiting for our appointment to get her fixed. So she's been running around screaming. And then like 2 of my dogs decided to throw up on my couches while we were live. So literally they just destroyed my complete house. So thank you guys all for like being patient and understanding and just enjoying them running amok around everywhere, because this is just what they do. Like I said, I just pay rent. So thank you, and very honored to be here. Thank you for talking about all this stuff with me. And if you ever want me back again, I am more than happy. This was a blast. So, and it's nighttime. I love nighttime.
Yes, I'm more of a nighttime person as well. But one last thing I'll mention before the official ending of things is vacation for me next week. So that could mean the potential of a couple afternoon streams or something like that next week. So be on the lookout for that. And take this shit off the internet and bump it outside. This is Andrew Rochford saying goodbye and good night.